Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Craftadia Season 2. We really appreciate all the support and even some of the donations that Market Town has received recently. It has helped us reach the level 95 mark. At least it will real soon. We're going to go ahead and let Kevohl level Market Town up, since that's been a big goal of his for quite a while, to level 95. So hopefully he'll either be doing that on a live stream or in a video soon. But in the meantime, as promised, we are going to show you how to make the tools. So one of the things that is required for making the tools is a stacking, we'll call it a glitch, because that's what it is. It was something that was not planned, but it's been a convenient thing to have as long as you know about it and you don't misuse it. So what is stacking? It's when you take a non-stackable item like a bed and you sell it to yourself with an alt or with a friend at 32 beds at a time. So you would have 32 beds in your inventory, and you would use the sellback feature that you have over here on the shop chest, like this right here, and then you would sell yourself 32 beds at a time. So why would you want to do that? Well, a lot of it is convenience. So for instance, in the resource world, if I want a bed, I just go into my town vault, and I usually have, a stack of beds right there in our town vault. And I, don't have to, I usually don't have to ask in chat for someone to put one on AH, but still, sometimes I forget. Why else would you want to stack? For convenience in restocking, because I don't have to come in here and restock these beds or these books up here near as often. Right? So I got plenty of books in here for quite a while. Usually lasts me 2 or 3 months. Why else would you want to stack? Well, for non-stackable items, one of the reasons you would want to stack your items is so that you can protect your balance. So let's say I didn't know about the stacking feature and I just had regular beds in here, all single 27 beds. Someone came in and they could buy a bed from me, make an empty slot location, and then they could sell me 32 beds. And me not knowing about the feature will be like, oh no, I just lost a lot of money I didn't plan on. And that happened to me early on when I was playing before, I had $8 million. I had, just a few thousand, and I just bought a plot here, and someone came and sold me 32 beds, totally unexpected, and I woke up the next morning with, much lower balance than I had anticipated. So, either one, don't have a sellback price, okay, right, or know about it and go ahead and stack all of your stuff up. So once it does sell, if someone buys 64 beds from me and I have an empty open spot and they want to sell 32 beds back to me, that's fine because I've already made money off of these and I know about the glitch. I'm expecting it. So that's part of it. Why else would, well, let's look at one other thing before we move on. And it's not technically stacking, but it does have to do with shop chest and protecting your balance. Something called shop filtering. So let's say you have, this mainly works with normal stackable items. Beds it doesn't work, it doesn't really apply to, although you could filter the beds over there. It just doesn't make much sense. But let's say, these obviously aren't super expensive, but let's say I had a really expensive item that I wanted to buy and sell. And, I only had 32 or a stack or whatever. If I left my shop chest like this and they came up, and they had enough items. I mean, they could literally bankrupt me if they sold me stacks of those super expensive items all throughout. If I just take any item, doesn't matter what, and I just fill all these slots in with something other than the item. And let's say, yeah, I'm fine with them selling me 64 more items. Okay, I expect to, to spend that much money, and then people will come back and they'll buy it, the stuff back from me. But this right here is shop filtering. So now, when someone comes up to my chest to sell an item, they can only sell me 64 more gems right now, and then that would be it. So that's shop filtering. I suggest using that on stackable items that are super expensive if you want to manage, or if you start just starting out and you don't want to buy more than a certain amount from people, you can filter your shop chest like that. So anyway, let's move on to what not to stack. Well, there's only one item I know for sure that I've heard from a helper and other players you do not stack, and that's totems. Reason being is it's a game breaking thing. Imagine I had 64 totems right here, and if it even works, by the way, because this isn't something I've tested, but just imagine if I had 64 totems and I died. I got 63. And I'm in a bastion. I'm just going through it, and I die again. I don't care. I got 62, totems. It's kind of game breaking. It's OP, and it's not really survival at that point. You got plenty of time. I mean, you got plenty of time already to RDP and get back to spawn. That's the shortest command to get back to anywhere. But that's pretty much it for this. Just don't exploit it. Don't use it to grief other players. And you should be all right. And with that, we will go into the tool making segment of this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hello everybody, and today I'm going to go through the process of making the non-event items. I know a couple of you have asked about it, so I'm going to get started on this grind. Oh, that's the wrong box already. Let's put that up. Alright, so this is what we're going to need. We're going to need, we're making a shovel today, and we're going to need 64 diamonds, 64 netherite ingots, the 6 to make it. At the very end of this, we'll need the statistic relic and the rename relic. I'm going to try to get a hold of a gradient relic and see if I can combine the gradient relic with a rename relic and the stat too, to give it some more a gradient color and the emojis. But you cannot put emojis by itself within a gradient rename. So I'm thinking maybe if I do the rename and then I try to apply a gradient relic to it, that it might work. It may not look like I want to. That's okay. You can always escape out and not apply it. So a couple of things we're going to need. First, we'll just go ahead and make the shovels that we plan on doing. All right, next we'll go ahead and apply the netherite. Okay, and that's step 1. We'll get another recording of step 2 and go over that here in a few. And we're back, ready to get started on the second stage of making non-event tools. I like to keep that. Okay. And that is actually enchanting them. Gathering the books that we're going to need to enchant them. So we're going to need Efficiency 5, Mending, Silk Touch, and Unbreaking 3. Because we're going to be doing a Silk Touch shovel. And I went with this because, you know, even though I do have an infinity shovel for Silk Touch for grabbing sand and gravel, I feel like, you know, Silk Touch is probably my favorite tool for the shovel. So I like to get the gravel and sand, specifically the gravel, and for making concrete. All right. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind when you're doing this. One is that the books have to be exactly the same. So what I mean by that, first we're gonna do F3 and H. All right, we're showing our tooltips, right? And then we'll go ahead. We're gonna need 64 mending books and well, actually, let's start with efficiency 5. We're going to need 64 efficiency 5. And I try not to buy them all from the same place, but you got to be careful when you are getting them. And I have some villagers, but I have not really set up a huge villager trading hall yet. So we'll go to Warp Skybooks and start there. And wow, they are kind of low on stuff. Okay. And kind of out. All right, I'm sure they'll restock soon. So let's go ahead and go to Warp Mend. Okay, and we're looking for efficiency 5. Now, you see the MBT tag at the bottom there, MBT1. MBT1 tag, there are sometimes different efficiency 5 books with different tags. So when you're making this, you have to make sure that all 64 shovels are using the same tag number for the books that are applied to them. Otherwise, they will not stack like you want them to in the very end. So let's go ahead and remember that we're using MBT tag 1. Most of them are going to be MB tag 1, but you know, always double check. And okay, so go back to, all right, and then we'll start getting all the books. We're going to need another. So like I said, I don't like to buy them all from the same place because I don't want to run someone out of stock. So we'll warp twice to shop. And go to books. All right, so I'm not going to tell you obviously what book it is, but you just start teleporting to different places and seeing what books they have. Efficiency 5, awesome, that's what we're looking for, and it's MBT tag 1. So we're going to go ahead and buy, and they only had 2. That's okay. We'll go back to shop. Okay, and that, I think, concludes our second segment on making the tools. That's just gathering the books that you're going to need. So, Efficiency 5, Mending, Silk Touch, and Unbreaking. We have enough of the Efficiency 5, Silk Touch, sorry, hold on, Mending, okay, Mending, which is here, here, and here, okay, and then Silk Touch and Unbreaking, Silk Touch, okay, Silk Touch and Unbreaking, okay, alright, and we'll come back here in just a little bit and we'll get started on the grind of making these tools. Thank you very much. This is the third part to making the tools, and the tool we are making is going to be Efficiency 5, Mending, Silk Touch, and Unbreaking. I'm going to enchant them in that order. All of the books are going to have the same MBT tags used for the books. So I start off by grabbing 9 at a time. All right, and then a couple things I'm going to need. I'm going to need this book right here. This is a book I made that tells me the XP to level difference. And then I'm going to use the town treasury to go ahead and put my 86 XP up. Because we're only going to be taking out the XP that we need to enchant. This is the cheapest way to do it with XP. Otherwise, you can burn through a lot of XP enchanting 64 tools with, you know, 4 different books for each tool. So we go through, and 86 I don't think is on the list, so we're going to put in 2920. So then town treasury, experience, deposit 2920. Okay, wow, didn't even make a dent. Let's try it again. Deposit, just say 10,000. Probably don't have that much. Okay, let's do it again. Experience, deposit 10,000. All right, and that took all of my experience. That's good. All right, so I am going to be using Anvil because it's, you know, the Anvil command doesn't ever break, so I'm not going through Anvils. Although I have done it with the Anvil, you can use it. I went through about 10 Anvils, I think, when I did it with the actual Anvil. But the other cool thing is that it's a command that I can use. So let's see, Anvil. All right, let's see how much we're going to need. We're going to need 5 XP to do the first enchant, which is Efficiency 5. All right, so there it is. And then 5 XP is equal to 55 experience. So we're going to do the town treasury again. And we're going to withdraw 55. Right, that puts me at 5. And then we're going to go back to the anvil and we're going to enchant. And then we sit here and we do this over and over. And this is what I mean by the grind. I could get more out, but again, by the time you get done, you could be, you know, could bankrupt your town's XP with how much you have to withdraw. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and record this, but this is probably going to go into a time lapse of doing all of these enchants. Okay, and that completes one of the main steps in getting everything ready to make the tools. We have all of them at MBT tag 3, which is what you want. Everything looks identical. You can test this by doing that, right? Okay, you can, yep. And then let's just grab another. Yep, they all are identical. Okay. All right, so I'll be back to do the next step in making the tools in just a bit. Hello, hello. Okay, so for the next step, we are going to be stacking all of these shovels into a 63 stack. All right, so here's the way that's done. You get a friend, you make a shop chest, and we put that on here. All right, and we got a shop chest. All right, we take this tool as is. Okay. And then we give it a sell price. All right. So now Warp Arcadia over there, he is going to be able to sell me stacks of these. So we're going to pause for just a second and let Warp Arcadia sell me 2 stacks of shovels. Okay, and we are back. Warp Arcadia over there had an empty inventory, and he was able to grab more than a few. He was able to grab at least 32 of these shovels at a time, and then using the 32 sellback option, he was able to sell me these shovels. Okay, so in order to get them to 63 stack, what we do is we grab one and we click on it over here. Now, when you're ready to put it in your inventory, be careful not to be off to the side, but we get right in the center, because sometimes what happens is you click, too far over and it likes to just put one down, and then you got 62. So anyway, we're left with 1 shovel, which we're not going to be able to stack. The only way to get that up to 64 is if I were to make 31 more shovels and then add that 32 stack to this, making a 64 stack total. We're not doing that. Way too much work, as you've seen, to get it up to 64. So there will be 63 of these shovels. And then something very, very important. Do not ever take these shovels and try to put them in a shulker box when they are stacked, or any stacked non-stackable stacked item. So again, we have 63 stack. We are going to be using the rename relic and the statistic relic on the 63 stack here shortly. But that might be the hardest part, is deciding what exactly are you going to put on the shovel. What are you going to name it? We try to be clever. We are trying to do the different colored wings of market, and there's a bunch of them. So we will, I'm going to pause here, and then we'll be back in just a minute to show you how to apply the statistic relic, how to escape out of it without using it incorrectly, and emojis and color codes, things that you need to know to be able to get it to look like you want, and how to get rid of that issue that happens sometimes when you italicize the emoji on the very beginning by accident. Actually, I can show you what that looks like on one I did a long time ago in my showcase. If you look at my Vader saber here, this was before I got the lightsaber, and I really wanted something. So I used this to rename relic, and I made just the one before I knew how to do the stacking and stuff. But as you see, the emoji is kind of messed up on the very beginning, and that's because of the lack of a color code before it. But again, we'll be back in a minute, and we'll go over naming items. And all right. Hello, everybody. We are going to be using our emoji book here and copying the Roman emoji right here. So let's copy, Control C, and then escape. And then we are going to be, for just a moment, I'm going to be in Notepad, which is where I do, or Notepad++, is what I like to use. And you can actually paste those emojis into Notepad++ while you have it up and running. If you close Notepad out and reopen it, the emoji won't be there anymore. It'll just be like a question mark. But while you got it open, you can actually store the information for it into a little square block. And I'll put some screenshots of it up here in a second. But let's see. Let me get a little bit in here, and then one chrome blue. All right, let me copy that. Okay, so here's how we do it. We get our rename relic out, and then we place it on here. Now, real important to know to escape before. Let's say you want to try a few ideas out, get a screenshot of it, show it to some friends, see what they think. You can do that. You can put all the information in for this, right? And you can get a screenshot of what it looks like right there, and then you can escape out and not actually apply it. So, digging market, question mark. Okay, maybe I want to put, see if I got room for L in there, what that does. I think we are going to want to bold this particular tool. And then F is white. I usually use it for most of the emojis. So I'm copying that, and I'm going to put that at the end. Paste. All right, so this is what we got so far. And then I want to know how much room we got. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't even know if that's... Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I got room for 10 more characters. I'm going to select all and copy. I'm going to escape. You see it says your item renaming has been canceled. And then I'm going to go back to Notepad, and I'm going to paste that whole string in there. And then see if I can play around with the rest of what we were wanting to do. So I'll be back once we figure out a couple of ideas for the new market tool. And then we'll show you finalizing it and applying the statistic relic and stuff as well. Okay, so while I have those ideas out to the other market members, I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and I'll be back when we completely decide on what tool we're going to use. And then I also, we got a few more surprises left, but we will be back in just a few. Thank you. Okay, we are back again, and the last thing we are going to do is go ahead and apply the rename relic to the tools. Control A, and then Control V, and let's make sure that looks right. Digging market, make sure it's 100% right, no misspellings, you're happy with everything that you got, and okay, and whew, okay, and we have it. We have the tools all named. Remember, never take the stack set of tools and put them in a shulker. It will unstack them, and like if you put these 63 in here, you'd end up with very few left because it's gonna unstack them, and yeah, you're gonna be out a bunch of tools. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to apply the statistic relic to it. So we're going to take this statistic relic and we are going to apply it to the stack. And there we go. We have 63 stacked digging markets, silk touch, netherite shovels with the statistic relic applied. Now there is one more thing I wanted to play around and test, but that would require having a gradient relic, and I don't have one of those right now, but maybe for a future tool we will do that. All right, and let's go ahead, and now that we are done with this, you want to unstack them, right? You want to, and you do not want to put them in the shulker if they are not stacked. So I'm going to take that, all these in the shulker, being very careful not to put the stacked set in there as well. Okay. We're unstacking them. Would not suggest double clicking. Okay, that's the last of them. Now I can double click. Okay, and that is how you stack the tools, name them, and build the non-event tools. All right, thank you for watching.